There is a voice inside you, and it is not your ally. It does not yell, it whispers. It sounds like your own thoughts, but it serves your fear, not your strength. It speaks in doubt, in hesitation, in comfort. It tells you you're not ready, that you're not enough, that you were too broken, too late, too far behind. That voice is not you. It is the rot you inherited. It is the shadow of everything you feared, fed by years of repetition, grown fat on passivity and indecision. It is the enemy within, and it must die, not reasoned with, not healed, not accepted, killed. The blade you must raise is forged from discipline, from silence, from the refusal to flinch when that voice cries out again, as it always does, in your weakest moments. The warrior walks not just through enemy territory, but through the battlefield of his own mind. And there, in the dark halls of memory and shame, the real war begins. Because that voice knows exactly where you are weakest. It knows the words that echo from childhood. It knows the people you lost, the chances you missed, the promises you broke. It reminds you of them not to teach you, but to chain you. And you listen. You let it speak. You let it guide your hand away from challenge, back toward the warmth of ease. You let it bury the blade of your own will until you forget it was ever there. That is how most men live, and that is why most men break. Musashi never bowed to that voice. He killed it, stroke by stroke, through repetition, solitude, and ruthless clarity. He did not need belief. He had practice. He had motion. He had war. And in war, belief is irrelevant. Only execution matters. So stop asking that voice for permission. Stop waiting for it to change. It is not your friend. It will not support your dreams. It only survives if you remain uncertain. Kill it. Every time it says wait, you move. Every time it says not yet, you act. Every time it says you can't, you sharpen your focus until nothing else exists but the next inch of the path. Not the whole journey, just the next inch. And when that inch is yours, you take the next, and the next, until the voice drowns in the footsteps of the man you've become. The truth is simple. You will never feel ready, because that voice was built to keep you still. But the warrior is not built to be still. He is built to carve, to cut, to move through resistance like water through stone. And when he moves, the voice begins to weaken. Not because it is gone, but because he no longer listens. This is the way, not of motivation, not of hope, but of discipline. You do not rise because you feel strong. You rise because the voice tells you not to. That is your signal. That is your call. When the voice returns, you return sharper, quieter, more deliberate. And one day, it speaks, and you don't even flinch. You don't even hear it, because you've become too focused to be deceived by your own shadow. The voice that lies about you is clever. It changes shape, it wears masks. One day, it's self-pity. The next, it's pride. Then it becomes guilt, then nostalgia, then hunger, then love. All in the name of pulling you off the path. It doesn't need to break you. It just needs to slow you, to make you question, to make you explain yourself, to make you feel something long enough to forget your motion. But the warrior does not explain. He does not pause to convince himself. He moves, and meaning follows. You want to silence the voice? Then stop negotiating with it. Stop treating it like it deserves a seat at your table. It was never born to lead you. It was built to cage you. Every time you retreat, it grows. Every time you hesitate, it sharpens. Every time you speak its language, the language of excuses, you feed it. But when you act against it, without delay, without drama, without announcement, it dies. It dies a little each time you train when no one watches. It dies when you rise early, not for glory, but because you said you would. It dies when you breathe through pain and strike anyway. You will be tempted to wait until the voice is gone. You'll think clarity comes first. You'll imagine a version of yourself who feels ready. That version is a lie. It's the voice, again, just dressed in false hope. Understand this. Discipline is not a tool to silence the voice. It is the weapon that moves through it. The warrior trains not to feel better. He trains to move in any condition, with or without certainty, with or without hope. Because the blade doesn't care about your emotions. It only obeys your grip. So grip it, not gently, not once in a while. Grip it daily until the motion burns through resistance and you no longer flinch. When others crumble under the weight of doubt, you will stand, not because you are fearless, but because you no longer need the absence of fear to move. Musashi wrote with his blade, not just on parchment. Every motion, every breath, every wound, inked a new line into the truth. You either command your mind or you are enslaved by it. There is no third path. So let the voice whisper, let it scream, let it follow you like a shadow made of smoke. But do not stop. Do not adjust your pace for ghosts. Walk, train, execute, breathe, cut. You do not win by arguing with the voice. You win by becoming the kind of man who no longer speaks its language. Because that voice doesn't die when you find peace. It dies when you choose war. Against everything that pulls you inward, softens your spine, and clouds your aim. And when it returns tomorrow, you will not flinch. You will nod and move. That is how you kill it. Not in one strike, but in thousands, repeated, unseen, undeniable. There is a moment, not loud, not triumphant, just quiet. You rise before the sun. The world is still sleeping. Your body is tired, but your will is not. You stand in the cold. You tie the knot. You step forward, and the voice begins again. You've done enough. You need rest. This won't change anything. You're still not him. But you don't respond. You don't flinch. You don't slow. Because you are no longer listening. You've sharpened your hearing to something deeper. Something beneath the noise. Beneath the doubt. Beneath the softness of modern men and the chaos of their distractions. You hear rhythm, breath, repetition, precision. The sound of war fought in silence. There is no applause in this moment, no validation, only the edge and your hands on it. You are no longer at war with the voice. You are at war with the parts of yourself that ever believed it. And you are winning, not with a roar, but with calm, with decision, with forward motion that doesn't ask permission. This is not the discipline others post about. This is not the routine they flaunt, then abandon. This is the kind that holds when everything shakes, when no one sees, when there is no reason left but the one you forged yourself. The reason you stand is because you said you would. That is power, not strength in the body, but command in the soul. Even the voice now knows it cannot stop you, so it shifts. It praises you, it flatters you, it tells you that you're ahead, that you can afford to coast. This is its last trick. But you do not coast, you do not drift. You return to the blade, to the silence, to the breath, to the fire you've built not around you, but within. Because you know, the moment you stop sharpening, you start slipping. And the voice waits for that moment, always. So you give it nothing, no excuse, no rest, no softness, only silence, only movement, only the stillness of a man who has buried too many versions of himself to turn back now. You are not here to be better than others. You are here to be sharper than you were yesterday, last hour, last breath. That is how you kill the voice, not through violence, but through victory. A quiet, brutal, unrelenting domination of self. You do not arrive. You do not finish. There is no final day where the voice is gone and all that remains is peace. No, the voice will return, weaker, slower, but still there, because it is part of the path. But now, so are you, and you are no longer moved by noise, no longer rattled by emotion, no longer baited by comfort. You do not rise to feel strong. You rise because you no longer accept weakness as your nature. You rise because motion is now identity. Discipline is your rhythm. Precision is your language. And the voice is just an echo behind you. It will try again. It will speak again. It will whisper again. But this time, it speaks to a man who has already drawn his blade. A man who does not explain, does not pause, does not blink. A man who moves like silence, strikes like certainty, and walks forward like it's the only direction left in existence. You are not your doubts. You are not your history. You are not the voice that lies about you. You are what rises in its place, what cuts through its shadow, what walks, without flinching, into the storm. Because you have chosen to kill the voice, not with hate, not with hope, but with repetition, with stillness, with unshakable will. And now, the voice will speak, but it will speak too late. You already moved.